another beautiful day to be a Raider, draped in the silver and black. I represent the shield. I represent the swords. It's that time of night again, Raider Nation. And you've come back. Why? Because it's time. It's time to bring them.
What's up, Raider Nation? I'm the Commish coming to you live from Hardcore Challenge Live Studios. Deep behind the enemy line. This is RAIDER ReACTION, baby. Getting ready for week 4, but we ain't done chewing on week 3 just quite yet. So, we got to get into that and a whole bunch of other nonsense that I probably don't want to get into. But we'll get into all that. Because, man, I got all crazy, knocked the camera all off. It's just hyped. It's that time of night. So, and I got an extra special WTH to close out this show. So make sure you tune in for that one at the end. Because you're not going to want to miss this. Because there's some strange things afoot everywhere, football related, and it's creeping in my world everywhere. So I will broach that at the end of the show, close out my WTH. But for those of you that have joined me my last 2 weeks on the Raider Nation Report, it's been a glorious show. The numbers have been stellar. Lots of Raider Nation watching with me as we've watched the full condensed game replays and relived the moments of 2 great victories. Well, we will not be doing that this evening, because I will not be reliving that, and I will not put the rest of you through it either. There's not much good to take out of it. There's some, which we will touch on, but not a lot. It was bad. I don't need to tell you. You all watched it. We all watched it together. We experienced it. It was bad, but is it freak out bad? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I honestly don't. And here's the thing, Hot Neil, is we don't touch on that at Raider ReACTION. We don't touch politics with a 10-foot pole. Because I don't want to get anything on the end of my stick. I won't touch it. We won't be goaded into it. And we won't broach it. This page will remain politically free. I have a right to think the way I think. You have the right to think the way you think. We also have the right to not really the right, but you don't have the right to force it upon somebody else. I don't have the right to force my opinion on somebody else, and you don't have the right to force yours upon me. So, I will only talk football here. And that's all I will talk. So, I know it's a buzz topic. Everybody wants to talk about it. But you have shows for that. You have pages for that. And mine isn't it. So, let's talk about what happened between the whistles. Now, between the whistles, we got blackened up. We got beat up. Our offensive line play was bad. Derek Carr was under more assault than he's been in well over a season. Our wide receivers couldn't catch a freaking cold. Hands of stone. It was just one of those games. It wasn't it's unfortunately it was one of those games where all aspects of both sides of the ball just it was just a bad game across the board. And it happens. It was a clunker, man. You have them in a season. It happens. So we did play like hot garbage, and there's no doubt about it. But you're gonna have those. It's unfortunate. I did not see us, and I'd said it multiple times, I did not see us getting trucked like that at any point on the schedule. But it happened. And dust it off and move on. It is what it is. He did learn what it was like, Michael. He got a firm taste, and I'm sure his brother called him and said, I don't know, I feel like I lived it. I lived it, Derek. I can tell you how that feels. But sometimes it's nice to get knocked down and have to dust yourself off and get back up. That's what they're going to have to do this week. Because this week we have a huge game. Huge. And it was already a huge game. I'd already circled it on the schedule as the first game that was our big pivotal game of the year. I had circled it months ago. And I told everybody who's watched, that's our first gut check of the season. That's our gauge. Right there. Whatever happens in those first 3 games happens. I knew we'd have a winning record, at least going into Denver. But this game, this is our benchmark game. It's divisional. The Donkeys just got embarrassed in Buffalo, coming off a loss. We got embarrassed in Washington, coming off a loss. Divisional game. Loser is on a 2-game skid. Possibly chasing, hopefully not, but possibly a 4-0 Kansas City. Oh, I want a Derek Carr retirement shirt or program. Just one or the other. Damn. I'm jealous. I want one. I've seen them online. I'm gonna have to give me a hold of one. I was really slacking on that because I seen the chances around to get some, and that was totally my fault. I'm a busy guy. So it's a big game. Both teams. I mean, you don't want to look at a 2-game skid and you don't want to lose to a division rival. So this is a big game. This is a big game. We've all had the Donkeys circled. This is the first one, our first divisional game. And if we can't get pumped up for this, you know, there was a lot of distractions this weekend. And that's not an excuse. That's not a freaking excuse at all. I mean, these guys are professionals, and they're paid a lot of money to go out there and put everything else in the back of your head, and you go out there and get it done. If you're fighting with your wife, whatever's going on, they're paid a lot of freaking money. Put all that in the back of your head and go out there and play. So the fact there was distractions this weekend, that I can give that a little bit of credence to that, but I'm not going to give that the sole reason. Absolutely not. It's just both sides of the ball had a off day on the same freaking day. It sucks, but it's reality, and that's all it really is. Does that mean we suck now? No. Even all the rankings, we've slipped like 4 spots. We're like ranked 7th on the power rankings and 1, 8 in the USA Today poll. But we're still up there because even the talking heads and the so-called gurus out there that work for these freaking websites that put these together, which is probably just some freaking 20-year-old intern in a back room like, hey, Joey, can you update the rankings? Some of them guys lost. And it sounds like there's a lot of freaking thought put into that. But even those schmoes didn't see us sliding down the ladder and being a team that sucks all of a sudden. It happens. I mean, the Patriots, they're the defending champs, the freaking Cheatriots. They come out and look like they were, bumbling around the first week too. And look, they've come out the last 2 weeks and stone smoked both of their opponents. The NFL's a weird thing, man. It's a marathon. It is not a sprint. You need to win enough games to stay in the conversation in the first half of the season. And then you need to get hot and start breaking it off in people in the second half of the season. And by the time you get to the end of the second half of the season, if you're scorching hot going into the playoffs, you're a dangerous team. And it doesn't even matter what your record is. As long as you are dangerously hot going into the playoffs, you like to have a good enough record to get a couple home field advantages, what have you. But it's a whole nother season. You just got to get there. So, the NFL season is a strange, strange beast. Do you remember during the era of the last great Raiders, where we came out, won 4 straight games, we all thought we were world beaters, and then we come out and lost 4 in a row. And then we were all like, damn, we got Tim Brown, we got Jerry Rice. And then the ship righted down the stretch. But it's, the season is, man, it's a long freaking season. It's a long season. And it's not all going to be gravy and sunshine and rainbows. I've said it. I've said it many times before. We aren't a freaking bandwagon. It's the Raider train, baby. It is a silver and black, 200 mile per hour, screaming down the freaking tracks, running over everything that gets in its way. That's what Raider Nation is. It's the Raider train. And if you're getting on the Raider train, you punch your ticket for life. Because the train ain't stopping for nothing. It rolls over and through things. So if you want to get on, it's cool. It's only one way off. And that's a boot in your back and right off the side, and we ain't slowing down. And that's just the way it is. So you just got to ride the train through the good and the bad. But that's what makes it all the sweeter when you get to the destination. It's the ride that makes the end sweet. The end's coming, people. This is still the return to greatness season. One bump in the road does not waver that. One bump in the road does not waver that. It just doesn't. I mean, you all seen me Sunday. I had my week 3 reaction, and I was pissed. We were all pissed because we was all hyped up, man. We done watched everybody else's team play, and we sit down, kicked back. Oh, yeah, it's time to watch some Raider football, prime time on a Sunday night. Woo! What is this? What the hell is going on here? We all felt that way because we had such high expectations. It's okay to be disappointed. We're disappointed in our kids. We're disappointed. Everybody disappoints us at some point, but we still love them. And it's okay, man. It's fine. It'll be okay. I think we'll right the ship this week. I totally expect us to beat the Donkeys. So, we will see. Week 4 is upon us. I've been saying this is our first pivotal game, so we will see. Autumn Angel, Rude Boy Raider, T Courts, and all the rest, new and old, my band of pirates. Thank you for joining me tonight. As always, I appreciate you joining me. Sorry, I have not greeted you earlier. I just got on a roll and I just kept rolling. Sometimes I'm like that. But I appreciate you joining me, as always, my band of pirates. Any second that you spend with me on Raider Reaction, always appreciate it because, hey, without you, I would be here talking to myself. And that's no fun. They'd lock you up for things like that. So let's look back at some of the high points. Now, mind you, there weren't many. But let's look back at some of the high points of week 3. And then we're going to touch on week 4, injuries, what have you, and get ready for that one. But let's prepare the plot. We're going to talk about this Deadskins game one last time. We're going to prepare the plot, and we're going to bury it. And it's over. We're moving on. There were some high points. Khalil Mack did not play bad. One man does not make a defense. He had some solid plays. He did some solid run stuffs. And sack as well. Khalil Mack, hey man, he put up stats. He made plays. One man does not make a defense, especially when that one man is on the defensive line. He does not make a defense. They're double teaming. They're holding that guy. Yes. HS is right. Cowser was another one. Another high point. James Cowser played well. Corey James had a high double digit tackle game. 6 of them solo. He was everywhere. You're right. He was everywhere. Everywhere. I hate to say it because it sounds like I'm joking, but Marquette King had a spectacular game. If Marquette King can't drive half of those punts he drove and pin them back where he pinned them and give us a chance to bounce back from a crappy offensive drive, Marquette King is a weapon. And he probably at least saved us a touchdown just on field position. Because we were having a hard time slowing them down. So the fact they had more yardage to go and Marquette King was providing that yardage, yes, he had a good game. And he was needed because he was out on the freaking field all the time. Now the guys, Carl Joseph also had a good game. Carl Joseph had a good game. Carl Joseph is just having a good game every game. I would have liked to see some more Shalom Lawani. I want to see him get some action. We're having trouble back there in the secondary. This is a kid that looks like he may have a spark, and he has a lot of talent. See what he can freaking do. Give him a shot back there. Hell, see if he can play corner. Sean Smith can sit out a few snaps. It won't kill us. Now, guys who just... We're off. And we'll start at the top and work down. DC was off, man. From the second play of the game, you're tossing it up there. He's clearly covered. Double. It just... He was just off. He wasn't crisp. Didn't help that he was under pressure. His offensive line was a freaking sieve in front of him and olaying people. That did not help, obviously. And that doesn't help your quarterback. But, easy, Popeye. But, he's an excited fellow. DC he was not sharp. He was not sharp. He was putting the ball in traffic where he shouldn't be putting it, and it just wasn't good. Just wasn't good. Cook looked okay. He got the touchdown, but is that, I don't know. I mean, in the midst of what was going on, I don't I guess I'm going to break the ice with this freaking anvil right here. Ah! There your ice is broke. Oh, Popeye, you the man. Hold on. Let's scroll back. I've seen a couple of comments. So let me touch back here. What was this one on how many needs to sit down? Johnny, man, Amerson. I don't know what to say about Amerson. One play, he's making a play where I'm like, yeah. And the next play, you're like, man, I don't get it. It's the defensive backs as a whole. As much as everybody wants to point a finger, it's Sean Smith, it's Emerson, it's this, it's that. It's them as a whole. It's them as a whole. When I'm seeing a freaking Redskin receiver in the middle of field with 4 guys around him, and none of the 4 of them are within 5 yards of the guy, who do I point the freaking finger at? Do I point it at Emerson? Do I point it at Smith? Is it the safety? I say that's a group suck right there. So I have a hard time. I know everybody has their own specific guy that they don't like and wants to see cut. Everybody does. Sean Smith seems to be high on the list. But it's the unit as a whole. It's the unit as a whole. Thank you, Midnight. It's the unit as a whole. So I don't know how to point fingers. Because on one particular play, one guy's getting scorched. And then this other guy's leaving breadcrumbs. Leaving toast crumbs all over. So, it's hard to point the finger. It's hard to point the finger. As a whole, the defensive backs have not been good. Now, it's not saying, our linebackers are making plays and racking up tackles, and it seems to be the back end. However, our front end is getting pressure, but not the constant pressure. Not the constant pressure. So, we're getting these sporadic plays where, we'll knock them down. But we need these drive snuffers where like what the teams have done against us lately. You come in and you drop them for 2 plays in a row. But they can't even do anything. That's just crippling to an offense where they don't even get a chance to go out and implement anything. That just cripples a team because so much time drags as they're over there sitting. They never get anything going. We haven't had that. And we need that. Oh, that guy ain't the answer. That guy's on some bar stool somewhere. I don't think we have the talent. I don't know what it is. And I know everybody, I'm not really on the Fire Norton bandwagon yet, which, everybody's on. But I don't know. Hey, he was a talented guy, but unfortunately his priorities are way out of whack. And being in the NFL, I don't think is high on him. Or because, it's not that hard to keep your name out of the headlines. It's really not. If you stop and think about it. How many times are your names in the headlines? Mine's not. I mean, it's really pretty easy if you think about it. And his are constantly in there. Because you can't stay out of freaking trouble. And that poor, it's unfortunate. It's a waste of talent. And it's a waste of a career. But it happens all the time. So, let it go! Let it go. He's all done. Anything else? I'll throw it out to the masses. Anything else you would like to cover on week 3 before we move on? Because I'm going to throw dirt on week 3. It's officially buried. Because it's donkey week. So we're going to bury the Deadskins game. But I will throw it out to Raider Nation and anybody watching. If there's any topic you would like me to touch on from week 3. Politics. There are no politics on Raider Reaction. Do I think it played? Now, I won't talk about the politics side of it because I won't take a stance one way or the other. However, I will speak on the fact that if I believe it played some effect in maybe the outcomes or the performances of some teams. And I will say to that effect, yes, I don't think it probably had a great effect, but did it have an effect on teams? Abso-freaking-lutely. These are human beings out there playing. These are human beings out there playing. And human beings play differently when their emotions are affected greatly when they're trying to prepare for anything. Because they're human beings. So, yes, it played a little effect to something, because everybody's psyche's a little different, every human's wired a little different, and having something going on that big and thrust upon you, then yes, it probably played some effects in the outcomes of week 3. Week 3 was a screwy week. Teams that were usually up were down, teams that were down were up. The Jets were winning, for Christ, the Jets were winning! The Jets were winning! What more do you need to know? It was just one of them weeks. Just one of them weeks. So, brush it off. We're on to week 4. Crabtree is fine. X-rays are negative. And like HS had said, and he's fine. He'll be fine. Probably a little sore. I fully expect to see him in Donkeyville. It's fully what I expect to see him in Donkeyville. So, all right, we're done with it. Week 3, putting it in the hole. Dirt on the hole. We're done with it. Done with it. Deadskins, congrats. You got one on us. Rattled us. But we're on. Because it's Donkey Week. Nothing gets us up like Donkey Week. Except maybe Queef Week. But, I don't know. Don't we just have a special hatred for the donkeys? Because the queefs, as much as we hate the queefs and we hate the chokers, they never win anything. So I have just a little more special hatred for the donkeys. Because John Elway, Mike Shanahan, Shannon Sharp. I mean, the list goes on and on. They're not just donkeys. They're my most hated players in the freaking league history. I still can't stand Shannon Sharp. How they gave that guy a show where you got to listen to that mouthpiece. Oh, my God. And then you put him with Skip? Oh, what a couple pieces of garbage those guys are. Does anybody honestly watch that? I know nobody that watches that show. Because I ask people all the time, do you watch that show? Oh, good God, no, I don't watch that show. It's terrible. So, I really honestly don't know anybody that watches that show. I don't even know what it's called. The one with Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless where he sits back there and, neighs like a horse and Skip does whatever Skip does. But it's, that's just bad TV. Who thought that was good? Shannon Sharp's obnoxious. I can't stand him. But it's Donkey Week, so it's just extra special. Overall, the Pats. Ooh, I can't say overall. The Pats are up there, though. I would put the Pats. Ooh, I'd put the Pats up there. But they're not my number one. The Donkeys are by far my number one. The Pats are up there, though, because the Pats directly affected a Super Bowl for us. So, they're definitely up there. They're definitely up there. My top 4, by far, all the AFC West and the Cheatriots. By far. By far. So, moving on to Donkey Week. Donkey Week, because we have officially buried... What's up, Brian? We have officially buried Week 3, and we will not be discussing that anymore. So, it's a huge game all of a sudden. Like I had said earlier, we both come off an unexpected loss, a road loss. Took one on the chin. They get to come back home. We still got to stay on the road. But that's all right. We're on our way back to O-Town, and it's just a little stop off in Donkeyville to put a boot in it. And it's a nice bounce back game. It's divisional, and I think we'll be fine. Their running backs did not look bad. They had about a combined 100 yards. Give or take. What the heck was there? Charles had 56, and Anderson had 36. Nothing spectacular. Jamal Charles did get the only touchdown of the game. Simeon was 24 for 40 for 259. Thomas had 6 receptions for just under 100 yards. Sanders had 7 for 75. Those two guys, our defensive backs, are going to have to step up. And we've got to get the pressure on up front that we did not get against Kirk Cousins. Simeon is not a good quarterback. I don't care what his freaking stats said the first 2 weeks. That means nothing to me. Take 2 week stats and throw them out the window. You can take our 2 week stats and we looked like we were world killers and nobody could stop us. And then look what happened. So, a couple weeks of statistics in the NFL, I don't care. The season rotates as it's going through. And, you know, when you're up, you're down, then you're down, then you're up. You know, it is what it is. Carr is not going to have a game like he had last. He's not going to happen. He's going to have a nice bounce back game. He has not had 2 bad games in a row like that. You got Crabtree and Cooper, who both had a bad performance. They're going up against one of our favorite donkeys. Oh, shoot himself, Talib, the chain snatcher. There's so many storylines in this game. The way this last week worked out and played out, that if you can't get up for this game and get ready for this game after what just happened, man, I don't know. This is a huge game. I think they're going to bounce back well. All of the distraction has now been processed. It will be a week old, and it's old news. In the cycle of social media and news cycle nowadays, 7 days later, that's like ancient freaking history. In 2 weeks, we'll hardly even be talking about this. It'll go away quick. Just weather the storm. I have managed to stay out of pretty much all of the groups, and for the most part, keep my mouth shut and not get in it. I've kept it off the page for the most part, although, you know, some people want to bring it anyway, and we're pretty much allowing it in the comments, and we're letting it go unless things are getting too out of hand. But we are not putting posts up to provoke anything or anything like that. So we're trying to let the everything roll through. Because I seriously think we'll be back to normal in a week or two. But I do not see the distraction that were in place this last week being that much of an effect this week. Like I said, the world has a short memory nowadays. I mean, people will still be pissed off about it, and they'll still be talking about it this next week, but it's not going to be like it was this week. It won't be. Everybody's going to be pissed about something else. I mean, it's just the way this country is right now. Everybody's mad about something. You can't walk down the street without pissing somebody off about something. Man, I hate guys that walk on the right side of the street. What are you doing over there? I'm like, damn, sorry, bro. I'll walk on the left side. Man, I don't like guys walk on the left side either. You know, no matter what you do, you're going to piss off some guy. You know, it doesn't matter. And that's what we decided. It's like, we will take no stance. So if I stand on this side of the line, that side's going to be pissed. This side will be pissed. We'll just straddle it and stand here and look at you both like you guys are stupid on both sides. Switzerland. We are Switzerland. Neutral. Donkeys. I feel for you. This ain't going to be the week to get you bounced back. This ain't going to be the week. Donkey is on the menu this week. We got a pissed off fired up silver and black team. The train. Train's next stop's in O-Town. And you just happen to be on the way. And you're on the tracks. And we're coming through. We are coming through. So, look out. Look out. We're on our way back from D.C. Heading to the O-Town. Donkeyville's just in the way. This is a big game. This is a very, very big game. It's divisional. This is a statement game. I thought last week was going to be our statement game. I had a lot of people telling me that was a trap game and that they were concerned about that game. A lot of people told me that. I didn't see it. Even Prime had said he thought it could possibly be a trap game. Apparently he was right. I didn't see it. I really didn't. But I knew the Denver game was pivotal. I saw the trap game coming after the Denver game, but it came before. Either way, this game is still huge, and I had this game marked as when the Raiders will put their stamp on the AFC West. Because if you can't get up for this game, if you can't get hyped for this game, if you can't get jacked up for this game and ready to play, then I don't know what else you need. This is everything you want. Division rival, arch rival, history. There's so many storylines tied into this. Crabtree, Talib, Von Miller, Khalil Mack. There's so much storyline, so much meat in this game. So much. Yes, we need to catch the ball. I'm telling you, it was one of them games last week, and we buried it. There will be improvement all over the field this week. Everybody, this happens to a lot of teams in the league. It's funny, I was listening to Deep Behind the Enemy Line, local sports talk radio, and they were talking about their local NFL team who almost did an identical thing to us. They went on the road and got trucked. And their entire fan base was calling in and freaking out and ready to jump ship and blah, 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 blah. So we're not the only franchises have to. You don't think donkeys are having the same conversation? Man, with the freaking Bills, we lose to the Bills, man. So we're not the only fan base having these conversations right now. But when you come out, we put the boots to the donkeys, and the world's all right again. It's just that simple. A W corrects everything. Winning makes it all better. Aaron, I have no idea. The whole game plan was screwy, man. We're running 2-yard routes when we need to get 7. The whole thing was screwy. Like I said, there's no point looking back at it. It's done. They're not going to do what they just did this week because obviously none of that worked. So they're going to adjust. They'll make the game plan changes. It would have been nice if they would have done it at halftime of last week, but the adjustments will be made. They'll be prepared for the donkeys. It's a different team. It's a different week. You have to really Bury the last one and focus on the next one. It is really a week-to-week mentality you have to have. It is really a week-to-week mentality you have to have. It just is. We'll be fine. I just don't... I'm not going to lie. I'm concerned about Coop a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Because we were having these same conversations about drops last year. And now he's already passed that this year already in 3 games. So I'm not going to lie. I'm a little concerned about Coop's hands a little bit. Because he's got phenomenal hands. Is it mental? Is it his psyche? Is it now crept into his subconscious? Now it's in the back of his mind, and now he's overthinking it. Where his entire life, he's went out there and just caught freaking balls on instinct. Now all of a sudden he's thinking about it. Has it crept in like that? Is he like a baseball player in a slump at the plate? Where now he's analyzing, how he's tweaking his feet, where his feet are placed, exactly where his hands are. He's calculating everything because he's in a slump. Because I hope that's not the case. Because when you start playing like that and you start overanalyzing everything you do, and you just don't go out there and play with your natural talent and your natural freaking ability, that's when you start doing that. That's when you start brick. Because now you're thinking about it. You're not just catching it. I don't know. Wait, hold on. What's going on in here? Justin, you heckling? Beating native teams. Funny guy. Well, we'll see. We got you guys coming around the corner here pretty soon. It will be our next trip to prime time, and I feel our next trip to prime time we'll be ready. Our first trip to prime time was not good this season, not gonna lie. We'll see how the next one is. We'll see. We'll see. I think we'll do well at Denver. It's going to be a big bounce back game. I think we'll put everybody's worries. The Raider Nation will come back down and even out. The Raider Nation sea will be calm again. After a W. An AFC West W. A road win. I think we'll be fine. So, we touched on Crabtree's injury. He looks fine. X-rays are negative. I fully expect him to play. We'll be fine. We're 2-1. We still have a winning record. It's early. So, it'll be good. I expect him to do well. I expect a big game out of Derek Carr. He's going to bounce back well, and his wide receivers just have to help him out. This is a huge divisional game. Huge. Because not only winning this will be big for us, help us keep pace with Kansas City, this gives Denver 2 losses in a row and puts them in a bad spot quickly. My predictions for the game. I've been thinking about this because I want to give my predictions tonight. My predictions for the game. (28-13). 28-13. That's my prediction for this week. 28-13. Raiders win. That's my prediction. I think we're going to get to Simeon. I think we're finally going to get a Bruce Irvin appearance, and he's going to have a big game. He's going to help out Khalil Mack, and we're going to get some nice pressure. And it's going to be our offense that's going to dominate this game. So, that's my prediction. It's going to be a silver and black Sunday. Bounce back. You think it'll be closer? It may be. I could see it being a close game, but I think both sides of the ball have a chip on their shoulder after the last game, and I think you're going to see both sides of the ball play much better this game. That's why I think we'll hold them to 13. I think they'll get a touchdown on us, but I think we'll snuff out 2 other drives that will end in field goals. So, I think we're going to have a bend but not break defense, and our offense will be able to put up 4 touchdowns. So I'm going with 28-13. And I believe we'll get the running game going this week. It was just an off week last week. I mean, God, I don't want to talk about it anymore because it was just an off week. It's just one of those things. It happens. It happens, man. Everybody has clunkers. It happens. Before I jump into my last segment of the show, I will throw it out there. If there's any topics you would like me to touch on, silver and black related, please throw them up in the comment box now. Give you a few moments if I don't see anything. I agree our O-line is better than theirs. You gotta let it go, Aaron. You gotta let it go. Because we're already game planning for the Donkeys. Raiders are already game planning for the Donkeys. As fans, we need to process it and start getting ready too. It just is what it is. You got to put it down and move on to the next week. Not yet, Josh. I am not ready to throw him away yet. I am not. I'm not ready to throw him away. I think things can be fixed. I'm just not. I'm not ready to give up on anybody yet. We're a 2-1 football team in the NFL, starting out the seasons. Guys, that's not a bad thing. We're a 2-1 football team at the beginning of an NFL season, coming into our first divisional game. We have a chance to be 3-1 and 1-0 in the AFC West if we win this game. And nothing before that will freaking matter if that's what we are at the end of this week. If we're 3-1 and 1-0 in the AFC West, we're all happy. Am I right? Yes, we would all be happy. And that game won't even be mentioned. And that's the truth and the reality. Now, as I close out every one of my Raider Nation reports, I close them out with my WTH. Now, my WTH tonight does teeter and walk the line of areas I don't typically like to walk. But unfortunately, I've been shoulder checked and bumped closer to the line than I typically want to be. So I'm going to have to walk it. But I'm only going to walk it during my WTH. Today, personally, actually today and a little bit towards the end of the day yesterday, I was directly affected by the events and choices and the drama that happened in the NFL this weekend. Only, of course, on a much, much smaller scale. much smaller scale. But for those of you that don't know, the moniker, the Commish, that I carry, that most of you know me as, was a name that I earned over many years running fantasy football leagues. I ran 2 leagues for many seasons, one an all Raider league and another, any multiple fans. Now these 2 leagues merged into one another almost 10 years ago, became the Hardcore Challenge. We now have 32 owners, 2 conferences. We run it exactly like the NFL. Have a divisional schedule, a Super Bowl. This is our 9th season, and I have webcasts for it. Hardcore Challenge Live. We have games of the week. It is the pinnacle of fantasy football competition. Well, we expanded our league this season from 20 owners to 32 to even make it more as a full NFL format, and went to an AFC and an NFC conference. Champions will play in a Super Bowl. Now, the 20 owners that I have, I'm going to tread the line. Now, the 20 owners that it only touches on it, but not in that. You just wait. Now, the 20 owners that I have were in the league, we've had for years. Because our league is good, nobody leaves. We have traveling trophies. You get a championship ring. You win money. All the guys play, participate. It's a fabulous league. It's the kind of league everybody wants to be in. That's why nobody leaves. So when we opened up the league and added 12 owners, we had a ton of people that wanted in. Because I'd had so many people, and all of my friends and everybody that's in the league, all the other owners had so many people that wanted in the league, that we had a list of prospective people that were dying to get in and wanted in for years because they knew what our league was about. So we opened it up, and one of these guys, I coached his son. He was on my he was on one of my soccer teams. He's a good kid, and his dad I knew was a diehard NFL fan, and he'd seen my ad when I was running ads for owners, and he'd begged and begged and begged, and the league was full. I didn't have an extra opening, so one of the guys ended up backing out at the last second because he had some personal problems. He just didn't have the time or effort to focus on it this season, and didn't want to do the fantasy thing. And he thank you, but no thank you. So the absolute last spot. This guy had been pestering me, and I'm like, all right, bro. All right. You're in. I'll give you the last spot in my league. So, mind you, a league that has been developed and worked over 15 years, the league itself has been in it, has archived statistics and everything for 9 years. This guy has been in it for 3 weeks. And decides to come on my page, in my league, give his political stance on what happened, and said he's done with the NFL. Fine. I don't care. If you want to be done with that's fine. That's everybody's prerogative. Everybody has a different opinion. Like I said, I'm not gonna broach it. I'm not gonna broach it there either. So I was like, okay, that's fine. No biggie. See you later. I have another owner now to fill your spot. No, so he had his little tirade in there. Now, to me, when you say I'm done with the NFL, and I'm done with everything related to it, including your freaking fantasy football league, Commish, then that means you post your little manifesto on my fantasy football league, and you get out. You don't post it and then come back in and start leaving comments, see what people said to you, and then start dropping all your players and dicking with everything in something I have spent a long time working on. And a lot of effort. Something I've spent 15 years working on, and you've been in for 3 weeks. Now, this is an absolute schmuck move. Obviously. He's been removed. and all is back to normal. It was all taken care of, but people, we all have different views on everything. I have different views than probably every single one of you watching. Because we're all humans. We all think differently. We all grew up from different backgrounds, different zip codes, different countries. It just is what it is. So there's just certain places you just don't interject that garbage in. And fantasy football would be one of them. I mean, seriously. Who's going to bring that into fantasy football? There is no place for politics in fantasy football. So I had to firmly look at that dude straight in the eye and tell him, bro, what the hell? God, I want to say that to half the freaking country right now. Settle down. That's my WTH for tonight. Thank you for joining me for another edition of the Raider Nation Report with the Commish. As we do every Tuesday. Hopefully next Tuesday we'll be back to starting off the show with getting to go through the full condensed game replay and living the glory of us beating down the donkeys. It's what I expect to happen. So hopefully you'll join me again Tuesday. Now tomorrow, you know what it is on Hump Day, but we got an extra special show for you tomorrow. Go check out the post pinned at the top of my page. We have one of the authors of the new Al Davis book on the show tomorrow for an hour interactive interview. He's going to take questions from the audience. He was a confidant for decades, sitting next to Al Davis, along with the other gentleman that wrote the book. Is a book from Al Davis's confidants. Full interactive interview with him tomorrow. So you get the first half hour with Prime and the Commish, and then a full hour Behind the Shield. John Kingdon, the author of the Al Davis Behind the Shield, tomorrow. So special hour and a half edition of Ghost of the Post tomorrow. Make sure you tune in. Check out the video, the commercial for it. It's pinned on the page. We're really excited to have this. This is an awesome thing. So make sure you guys tune in. We want as many as Raider Nation in attendance that we can get. So make sure you tune in tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern. Should be a great thing, man. Should be a great thing. Should be fun. This guy's got some insane stories about the man who created it all. So make sure you tune in tomorrow night. I'm out. Peace. Love. Raider Nation.